Hello everyone, welcome back. So in our Appium framework series, today we are going to see how we can integrate the Appium server, which is programmatically we want to run into our framework. So far we have seen how to set up the driver initialization, and then how to set up the getter and setter with the singleton pattern, and then how we can create a simple base test which would automatically launch your Android or iOS simulator based on the platform that you are sending as the parameter from the maven command, right? And then this is the basic test, which is an empty at this moment, but we will be keep pouring the different scenarios here. Okay, fine. Now where do we set the Appium server actually? So normally there are two ways, right? We have already understood. One is actually you can go into the terminal and you can simply say Appium, and then it would run all of your Appium server with the arguments whatever you are providing, whether it is the plugin or whether it is the downloading the Chrome driver. All those things it would do automatically by providing those server flags. The second option is to kind of programmatically set it up, and we have already seen that in our previous sessions how you can set up the Appium server actually programmatically. You just need to find it out the Appium.js path and then the node, that node path. The node is basically the node.js. From there you would have installed the utility, right? So these are the two paths which is pretty different from system to system based on where exactly it is present actually, but the other things would remain same. Now let me just simply copy paste this and we'll go over quickly these options. So for this I will go to my base class, okay, base package, and I will create a new Java class and I will say that Appium server. You can give any name there. Okay, and here I will be copy pasting this content and then we will go over to discuss that. Okay, so now let me import couple of things and then we will go over them. Okay, perfect. So now we are good. Now let's understand one by one actually whatever we are talking here. So I'm taking the Appium service builder. Now this is a class from the Appium actually, where I'm taking the builder as an object. Now this builder will hold all the parameters that we are going to run along with the Appium server actually here. So you can see the Appium.js. This is my Appium path. Main.js, wherever your Appium is installed, from npm install Appium you would have done that, right? Now this is basically I'm referring to my the Appium 2.0, and then driver executable. Now this is basically the node.js, the node utility where I have installed. And then using port, you can use 4723 as the default Appium port, or you can use the any other port that you want to run your Appium server. And these are some general flags that I'm setting it up, and the with log file. Now this is basically whenever the Appium will be generating certain logs, right? Where do you want to save it? You can give any path. For this moment I'm giving a flat list project directory as Appium log.txt. Now this is where actually where exactly your Appium server has to run. At this moment I want to run on my local machine, that's why I'm giving as localhost IP address. And after that, are you going to set up any server flags like plugins? Like we have extensively discussed how to use the Appium plugins, right? So those plugins you can use it here. Like if you remember in your command prompt, we used to use Appium space -- use plugins and the name of the plugin. You can have one or multiple plugins at the same time. You can run it along with your Appium server. And this particular statement is basically if you're running your Appium test cases onto your Chrome browser, and the Chrome browser need the Chrome driver, right? Now to auto download the Chrome driver based on your Chrome browser, you have to set this flag up. Okay, so that's how it is setting it up. If you are using Appium Java client less than 8.x, you probably need to append this wd-hub into this particular URL. If you remember this URL, we are not using wd-hub, but if you are using less than 8.x of the Java client, you would need this particular server flag. So that's pretty much it actually. Here you can set it up. And then what I'm going to do now, this builder, I'm setting it up as a single instance to run across my one test case whenever it is running, or the single instance only throughout my test case, actually not throughout the shoot. Now for that I'm setting it up as a get instance method actually. Now here what I'm going to do, I'm saying that if the server is not null. What is this server? This server is basically the Appium server, right? If it is not running, then only you set this instance. Set means you are going to run this, and if it is already running, then you return that server. So this is just to avoid multiple server dot start actually whenever we are doing. Okay, so one time we have to start at the beginning of the test case execution, and we have to stop at the end of the execution of that particular test case. Now new test case appears, newly it will start the server, and then it will stop. Or else you need to make sure that before shoot you need to start it, and after shoot you need to stop it. Either ways you can do that depending on your need. We are going to see that in a couple of minutes. Okay, fine then. Now if you see that a lot of options we are hard coding here. See, what are the different things which would remain same whenever you are doing multiple times Appium server run? So the path, right? This path will never change. It would remain same with respect to my machine. So I'm not going to touch this. Okay, now if you see that these particular things, okay, these gestures, adding a gesture, or maybe these server flags may not be required at every time, even this base path also. These are specific to your test case scenarios actually. For an instance, let's say you don't want to run your Appium test never into your Chrome browsers, mobile Chrome browsers. You might not want to do this particular allow insecure Chrome auto download, right? Or maybe like you are not using any gestures, let's say. So how do you dynamically use it whenever you need it? So for this actually what we are going to do, we will be setting up certain parameters actually there. So normally we set it up in config.properties, and we will say that like use gestures equal to true. Now here we can put a condition, if use gesture equal to true, then you set this up. But then again it is actually you have to come back to your code or your project, and then you have to change that, right? To avoid that, what we have learned, we can use this particular system.get property, and this can be on the runtime. We can send that, or during the beginning of the execution, we can send these parameters from different sources. If you are using Jenkins, GitHub Actions, or command prompt, you can set all this up. Okay, now let me show you that one example of that. So let's say that I will be setting it up this use gestures plugin depending on my need. So what I'm going to do, I'll come back to this app data, which would hold all the test data, quick test data I call it, and here I will set it up use gesture plugin. Let's say that use gesture plugin, and here I will be setting it up as here, and then let's say that this is my like a kind of true false scenario that I'm going to take it, and then I will tell this as true. Let's say that I'm keeping it like this. Now what I'm going to do, I will come back to this Appium server, and here I will be setting it up like this. So I'll set up a new one, and here I will put this condition, if app data dot use gesture plugin equal to true, or maybe I can say dot contains true, then only you set this up. So I will say builder dot with argument, or maybe I can just quickly copy paste this like this. I can set it up. Now each of these conditions I will be setting it up from now. Now let's say that if you don't want to use my Chrome browser, let's say that I don't want to use that, and you have to end it here by putting a semicolon, and then let's say that I will be coming back here, I will be creating another parameter, and then here I will say that Chrome, here I'll say auto download driver, any name you can give, and I will set it up as true. And now the same thing, I'll come back to my Appium server, I'll put it another condition like this, and here in this case I'll say that Chrome auto download driver equal to true, then only you set this up like that, and here it should be builder. Like this you can set it up, and let's format this. Okay, now the same thing, lot of different options wherever you want to use, you can set it up. Now the benefit is that you know what is the what you call upcoming test cases that you are going to run, right? Whenever you are running your regression, smoke, sanity, or any specific test cases, at that moment you can pass these parameters from your maven command actually there. Okay, fine then. So now how to use it? Now this is what we have set it up, right? Now where should we use that? Always we used to use it in our test cases. If you see that, if we need to run that, let's say before our test case run, then I'm not sure if we have set it here you can see. So in the same test case only we were doing start and then stop, right? But this is not a good practice, right? If I have 50 different test cases, I may not want to run this Appium server in every test case actually. So for that, if you remember, we have something called as base test, right? So here is something actually I need to set it up. So whenever, now there are two ways that I can set it up. Before each of the what you call test case, or before, actually this has to be, even this you can set it up as before method as well. So all the test methods that whatever you have at the rate test method annotations, it will be running actually there. Now the same thing what I'm going to do, I'll create a before shoot actually. Before shoot, you can see that this is again one of the after and before annotation for test-ng, right? So I can use it. So public static void, and then here I will be saying that server start, some name I'm giving here, server start, and then here I will be doing like this. So I will say base dot Appium server dot, and you can see that start. Now why I can access this start method, let's come back to here, and you will see that now this is static actually. Okay, you can even make it as public also. Actually this one you can make it as private, so you don't, because we are not going to expose this outside world actually. This has to be used, this particular set instance, by this particular start and this particular get instance only. Okay, so if you see that this I made it as private. Now if you see that this set instance method, who is using this set instance method is used by the get instance. So that's why it is internal only. Even this get instance also I can make it as private. There is no problem with this. Now this start and stop has to be public, because this will be used by external files actually, whether it may be within the same package or into a different package. So this has to be public. Now this start and stop we will be using outside of this particular class. So I will be coming back again to this base test, and here I am saying that base.appium server.start. Now the same thing, let's say that I am going to put it as after shoot actually here. So I'll say after shoot, and here, and let's just import this, and here I will say stop here, and then this has to be stop. So now what will happen, whenever you are running one or multiple test cases, at the beginning of your test case execution it will be starting the server, and then before each test method will be running, it will be launching your application. That's how you need to automatically do all these things, and then you don't need to worry about setting it up the start and stop server into each of these test cases. Now let's say in case if you want to run before of each of your test case execution, you want to start and stop, simply instead of into the before shoot you can add here itself. So like you can simply put it here like this, and then probably you can set up a after method actually here, and then here you can set this up, and here you can say that close app, and here instead of this launch app I can write even stop also, right? So we have something called quit. here. Did we do that quit? Okay, we haven't done that, but you can use that quit method also. So I'll tell you actually how to do that. So what we are going to do, so I'll say app driver dot get current driver dot quit. So I can do like this, because get current driver is nothing but it returns me the WebDriver at the end, and after quitting that you can stop it actually there, like that. And always make sure that after you are quitting the driver you normally stop the server, or else sometimes it throws error actually there, like this. So depending on your need you can do that. Now at this moment I'm not going to do these things, I'm just setting it, telling you guys to kind of, depending on your need you can even customize these things also. Okay, fine then. Now if you see that this app data, I'm setting it up as true by default, but you can send it as false also. Let me show you that. So now I have a simple test here, right? Now I want to run a particular Android test case actually. It's an empty test case, but this would, so what I'm going to do here, I will be launching my Android application by not setting up the gesture plugin, but I will be doing the Chrome auto download, and then the Appium server has to run automatically. Okay, so here one thing is that this is launch app, and if you see that this particular method name is also launch map, so I will just make it as launch app test. You can give any name to this particular test-ng test just to avoid confusion. And you can see my simulator is already here, and this is the application that we are going to launch it. And then all the details are already into this app factory, if you would have seen that. So here you can see the details are there, and then this launch app method will automatically detect that if it is Android or iOS. So for now, into this app data, I'm making this as default Android. So let's make it as iOS, and I'll try to send the Android from my Maven command actually there. So what I can do, I will open my terminal. Here you can see right click, open in, and then terminal. And here you need to specify Maven test -d platform. So platform is nothing but, if you see from where I'm getting this variable I'm getting from here actually, this. So any variable that you want to use, always append with -d at the beginning. So here I'll say Android. Okay, I'm just overriding, and -d. Now if you see that the gesture plugin is true, so I will make it as false, because I don't want to set any kind of plugin for now, because I want to just run a simple test only. And Chrome auto download driver, here it is true, so I can even set that as false as well. So -d, oops, not like this, -d, and then copy paste this particular variable here. You have to exactly make the same variable only what you are using there, false. And now let's enter it. Okay, there is some issue is coming, let's see. Okay, so the problem is that it is opening from a wrong directory actually. So I will just take this particular statement and open it from the here actually. So right click, open in terminal. So this is the actually path actually. So this is the path, and here I will be running that test. And you can see that it is running my Appium server, and along with that it should launch my simulator. And here you can see the simulator is launched, and here you can see the driver is set, Android driver is set, Android launched. So all these details it is printing here. It ran the Appium server. You can see these are the different Appium server logs actually that it is printing. If you would have run that Appium from your command line, these details would have been run there actually. And at the end you can see Appium server stopped also, and that is basically coming from here, Appium server dot stop. And if you go inside this is what it is we are printing there. Now the same thing. Now if you see, this is iOS, under that I'm keeping it right. So you can keep another one, like under tests you can put an Android package, and under that you can specify different test cases. But at this moment we just wanted to showcase an empty test which would launch your simulator application and also the Appium server automatically without writing anything inside your test case. and that is where your base test is helping you to do that. Even we can, as an alternate to this before and after method, we can use our test engine listener as well. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it actually to understand about the usage of the Appium server and how do you fit it into your framework irrespective of what kind of configuration or how your framework is built. This particular code will definitely work for all these situations. So give it a try and let us know if you are facing any issues. Okay, so hope this session is helpful. We will be seeing some more interesting topics in our upcoming session, so stay tuned and do subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.